How many of you felt something tonight? Yeah. Wow. Always amazed at how resilient the human being can be with what we suffer, what we go through, and yet, even in the darkest night, after the darkest night, we can still rise. Wow, it was impressive. Thank you so much. Yeah, choking me up too.
Thank you all for coming and for listening to all of us. Sorry. Obviously got really close with the people in the documentary, and they just mean a lot to me. And so I can, you take it.
So I think after a brief crying spell, we can talk a little bit tonight. And so we'd be happy to take some questions, or we're going to have some people come on stage and take some questions with us. I know Ronald wants to tell us something. Hold on a second, though, Ronald. I'll come get you. You've been patient, man. Thank you very much. I know you want to add something because you know about recovery too, but I think we'll bring some folks up and we can talk a little bit about your thoughts on what you saw, what you felt in the movie. Maybe you have a little bit more to tell. Maybe you saw something else in the movie that was meaningful to you that you think would be helpful to share. And then maybe we can talk a little bit with the audience as well too.
So,
who do you have here?
We have Kaylin and Isaiah, and Lisa, Leanne, and
Come on up.
And of course,
It's an honor to meet you guys. We have this beautiful stage to sit on here. Maybe it might be good for us to, maybe if we all come over this way a little bit. So what do you think? Could I ask maybe each of you just to give us just a little comment about what you saw, what you thought, what you felt in the movie tonight? Would you mind doing that? All right.
Yeah, so I thought it was really good. I liked hearing everybody else. It was really nice to hear from you guys. And especially Jackie putting this all together for us, it was really great. And I appreciate this very much, because I feel like I have symptoms of you guys too, that was classified as schizoaffective. So, but when I hear from you guys too, it really makes sense. Just this whole mental illness everything put together. So yeah, I got a lot out of it. It was really cool to see myself up there too. It was really great. It was really great. I really like this documentary as well that we put together.
Yeah, I think you did a beautiful job on it. I loved all of it, and getting to see the different stories and feel the hope and the strength of everybody involved. I love that we were all able to meet together in an auditorium like this, because I think all the feelings are so strong, and you can't watch that and not feel something. And so I think to have everybody here, to have friends and family here of mine to see it, and to know that other people are here learning and taking something away from it. I think that just that documentary had so much to offer and so much to give and to learn from, and that it was really important, and I'm really glad to have been here and been a part of it and got to see it.
It means so much to me. To have so many people hearing Jaden's story and knowing that she's not just a number. She's not just a suicide. She was a girl. care enough to come see this documentary, knowing that Jackie cared enough to put it together. It really, it makes everything worth it. It makes telling her story over and over again worth it. As long as it means that I can make a difference in one family's life. And I'll keep doing it. And I'll keep telling her story. And I'll keep being her voice. Because she needs me to be. And all the other Jadens in the world need me to be. So, thank you so much.
It might be a mistake to give me the microphone. Lisa and Adam, this is groundbreaking. I don't know if anybody knows this, but what Jackie has done, and Lisa and Adam, no one's done this in the United States. This is groundbreaking stuff. No one has had the courage or the, oh my gosh, we're going to spend some time and money on this and talk about mental illness and suicide. This is amazing. I don't know if you guys realize this. Kern County is way above the curve. We are way ahead. This isn't just a little silly documentary here in Bakersfield. This is big stuff. So, I work in the field. I run the mental health, the Kern Behavioral Health and Recovery Services hotline. I work with survivors. I work in intervention and prevention. I am and I love what I do. So I see it every single day. This is, you know I love you, Jack. I've gotten to know this woman. She's my friend. This is beautiful, so I thank you from the bottom of my heart. We're going to send this to the Emmy people and whoever we need to send it to, because they're not doing this in Hollywood. They're not doing this anyplace else. This is major. So thank all of you so much. Guess what? People with the mental illness can live normal lives. Thank you. And people, we do go on. It's painful, isn't it? But we do go on, and we're going to go on, and we're not going to shut up. So thank you all for being here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for your comments. So we can take a few questions from the audience. Would that be okay? Great. So Ronald, I know you wanted to tell us something real quick here, right? This is Ronald, man. This guy's full of love and hard work.
Well, I'm recovered from CFLC. We have classes called Anger Management with Willie Fields, you know him, and we have Illness Management with River C. We have Schizophrenia with who's it? Who's schizophrenia? Who's that with? Melissa? Do you remember? Somebody. Who? Somebody. Oh, somebody. Schizophrenia with somebody. And we have who? Jerry. That's right, Jerry. Then we have Moses over with David Thomas, which is not here tonight. And we have all kinds of classes. Then we have another class called we have different classes about recovery, and I have dreams all the dreams when I go to sleep. I need to pray for. I need to do that to get those dreams.
Thank you, Ron. Yeah, when you have an illness, you need to learn how to take care of it, right? And you're learning some things there. A lot of people are. So, okay. Comments, questions?
I think the line said it took 8 to 10 years to get a diagnosis. What's up with that?
diagnosis, treatment.
Treatment. Okay, what's up with that?
I've been bipolar since I was 13,
Mhm.
and it wasn't until 10 years later, when I was 23, that I realized I had a mental illness. Because my son was bipolar, and he attempted suicide several times. Thank God he's still alive. But he's 32 now, but he still hasn't really gotten the help he needs, even though he was hospitalized at a younger age. I did not know that I had a mental illness until I was 23 years old. I have been suffering for 10 years. And even then, it took me another 10 years to come to grips with it because it was so severe. So, the behavioral mental health through DNC and medication basically saved my life. And I'm having a bad year. I've already had 3 suicide attempts this year. So everybody pray for me.
But you're still here.
I'm still here. And I tell my daughter every day, promise me we'll always still be here for each other. So that's why it takes so many years to get help, because people don't ask for help. They don't know they have a disability. They just think they're not a good person, or that they're weird, or people in their family have made them feel like they're just weird or lazy, or just get up and go to work. What's wrong with you? And anyway, that's.
That's probably the biggest part of it, knowing that you have a problem, knowing that there's help out there and how to get it, and then kind of mustering up the courage and the strength and, you know, the idea to go get it is also very hard too. Those are all big factors in why it can take a long time between when people have symptoms and then they start to get help. And, you know, frankly, and, you know, another reason is because, you know, to get through all of that is really hard. But if you throw on a layer of that, it's really hard to get help. For instance, it can be expensive, or you don't have health care benefits. Things like that make it even harder too. And those are things that we make decisions about in our world. We can make those things harder or easier, but certainly needing help and then not having a way to get it is another thing that slows down people from being able to get the help that they need.
But
So,
it's also stigma, Dr. Bob, because 80% of antidepressants are prescribed by primary care doctors. Because if I walk into a primary care doctor, oh, he's my doctor, he's going to, you know, give me medication for my sore throat. And so people, if they see me walking out of a mental health facility, they might judge me, but not going to my primary care doctor. So people, oh my gosh, something's the matter with me. I don't want someone to judge me and say it's a mental illness. So that's, again, it's stigma
Right.
that people are afraid to go and get that help. So they suffer in silence.
did any of you experience that? Did you know that you were struggling with something that was hurting you, and you didn't feel comfortable reaching out for help?
It took me probably about 10 years, yeah, at least 10 years to figure everything out, because I didn't know that I had a mental illness. I didn't know that what I was dealing with was mental illness, because nobody talks about it, right? Because we're not told this is what borderline is, this is what bipolar 1 is, bipolar 2, this is what depression is. We're not told any of those things. So how do you know, right? And nobody else talks about it, and it's not just the stigma that other people have, but that you inflict upon yourself. I mean, I felt that. I still feel that. helps me a lot with them.
Yeah, I think we learn things. We learn a squared plus b squared equals c squared, but we don't often learn that in life everybody is going to feel hopeless at one time or another, some more than others, right? I mean, who here has felt hopeless about something? About something, right? Look at that. Everybody, virtually everyone here has felt hopeless. How many of you were wrong that there was hope for you? That things got better, that people cared, that people helped, right? We were all wrong about it. We don't learn these things. We don't learn that you're going to feel this way and that there is hope and that you can overcome it. And that slows us getting to hell. Because we don't think that we're going to get it. We don't think it's going to work. Sometimes. Sure. Other questions? Sure.
I just want to say thank you for this because it shows me that I'm not alone. I too am bipolar and suicidal, and I struggle with it every day. So this was really good for me. Thank you.
You're not alone. We are together.
I just wanted to add that there's so many levels of stigma too, because Kate's actually my best friend. We met during her 4th hospitalization, and then again at residential. We were roommates. But I struggled a lot in 8th grade with depression that just seemingly came out of nowhere. And I didn't know what to do. And I just became so hopeless. I was missing a lot of school because I just felt very physically sick, very mentally sick, and I just couldn't deal with the day. And then eventually I stopped going to school, and I had to do the work at home, and eventually that became too much as well. And it took a long time for me to try to talk to my parents, and when I told my dad, I think I'm depressed. At this point, I had been self-harming, I was suicidal, and I was out of school. And when I told my dad, he said, well, depression is a big word to use. And I mean, to credit my dad, he's done so much for me. He's gotten me the help that I needed. But at the time, that just crushed me. That was me reaching out for help after months and months of struggling. And the label depression has so much emotion behind it, has so much meaning behind it, that it's hard for people to say, and it's hard for people to say, my daughter is depressed, and I don't know what to do about it. And now I'm in 10th grade. I'm going to a school that I'm specializing in engineering, and I want to work. I actually want to be a cognitive neuroscientist and help make mental health treatment more of a hard science, so that it's not something that's just touch and feel like, well, I don't know I have this. I didn't know about this for this many years. I want to make it something that's like an x-ray. It's something that's more standard and more concrete, because so many people have struggled with this, and it's impacted and destroyed so many lives.
Yeah, we need more people to help us figure this stuff out. I think I saw a hand up back here.
Oh, I have a comment and then a question. I just wanted to say that I agree with Ellen that this is groundbreaking. And my other comment is that it was incredibly well done. Major talent went into that. And so Jackie and whoever helped you, incredibly well done. And thank you so much. I work in the mental health field, and so my question is, in bringing awareness, I heard a rumor that Kern High School District is starting maybe to think about implementing something into their school district to inform teens. And I don't know if you have any information on that.
We do.
Okay. Okay. Yes, please share what's going on and what can we do to
The
help.
state of
that.
California passed a law that it goes into effect the 17 and 18 school year, that from 7th grade on up, every school district has to have a suicide prevention policy. Thank God, yes! The California Department of Education just sent out the model policy last week to all school districts, and Kate, the superintendent of schools, we just had a meeting this past week with a lot of districts, and we're going to have an expert come on June 7th, meeting with all the districts, and everybody who works at the school has to be educated, not just the teachers, the bus driver, the person who works in the kitchen, everybody, so they have to be suicide aware. Which is going to be amazing. Kern High School District is one of the few districts in Kern County. They have not waited until the last minute. They've been working on their policy for about 7 months or so. So they kind of presented what they're doing. Fantastic, beautiful stuff. So KCSOS, the superintendent of schools, wants to make sure it gets implemented in every place, because there's not going to be a slap on the hand if you don't do it. But we're going to make sure everybody does it. So it's going to be fantastic, because now everyone's going to have something in place. So it's a beautiful thing.
Yes, I'd like to congratulate you on that film, that documentary. That is a personal document, not made by a filmmaker. It's made by you, who I've never seen anything that's broken down. I know I have a mental illness, but it's hard to tell your doctor what you got exactly. There are so many different ones. But this documentary, I saw things that were myself, I saw things that were not myself. So I was able to kind of figure out where I stand. Mental illness, it begins early. In high school, I was class president. I was an athlete, a two-sport athlete. By my junior year, and I was popular my junior year in high school. I didn't have anybody to guide me, but it's overwhelming for a young person to go out in the world and not know what to do. I'm going to be 61 years old, and I've went through some things here lately that I'm going to change my life. But this program and the things that the Mary Kay Show does, it's wonderful things. It's okay to admit that you do have a problem. It's okay. It's a good thing. I thank the Lord that I have a wife that listens, who doesn't get upset, who will tell me what I need to hear. Because when you have that, like you said, Ellen, that the depression, it will just tell you what to do, tell you what's right and what's wrong. And it's lying to you. It is lying to you. And face in the water, I'm going to try that.
We'll go to this little man.
Jaden was a great sister. She was a great tomboy, and I know she was good at soccer and many things. I know depression when I see it, and I've dealt with it after Jaden's death. And I've seen one of my friends dealt with it when one of his dogs were dying. But they found like a medicine that helped them out, and they helped them live more. And just worked. And yeah, I've seen other of my friends with depression, but that's another story for later.
But you know you don't have to see it by yourself now, right? There's other people that can help you with that.
I just wanted to add, we're hearing a lot about, people we love and teenagers and these wonderful new things that will be implemented in the high schools. But I think we need as a society to remember that this affects kids. They don't know how to deal with that monster in their head. They don't know how to deal with catastrophic events. They come home, oh, my friends don't want to talk to me anymore. That's catastrophic to them. We can't just write that off anymore. And we have to remember that with the kids, with the little ones. And we just lost a 7-year-old just a few weeks ago. They're making this decision to take their life, and we need to do what we can to listen more. And it's not just high school students, it's not just adults. It's the little ones too. Jackie, on behalf of my family, thank you for this. Thank you.
Let me just say a little something about that, and then just to ask you guys a question related to it. Because sometimes, kids don't know what's going on. They don't know what to say. They're uncomfortable with it. They keep it to themselves sometimes. Sometimes they're pretty good at keeping it to themselves too. And I'm wondering if any of you can maybe talk about that. What's a way that we can see more clearly what's happening with younger kids? Or how do we talk about it with them?
I think that it just needs to be something that's normal. Like, I think if we could get to a place where depression and suicide could be dinner table conversation, where it's not something so drastic that you're talking about, it's so normal, then it would help. I think that would help people be more comfortable to come out and talk about it. And I think that getting to where we understand that it is a problem for children. It's not just teenagers, it's not just adults. Being able to understand that they can also have these kind of problems would be crucial, because so many people think that kids cannot experience this. And I think recognizing that it's there and it's prevalent, and being able to just talk about it normally would, I know at least it would have for me, if it was something that people talked about, then I would have felt more comfortable, like I wasn't the only one dealing with what I was going through.
So one of the things that was, I thought, kind of powerful about what Jackie showed about herself were the pictures of the changes happening. You remember when you saw like the dramatic weight loss, right? The picture of when she last felt okay, and then 25 pounds less later, and oftentimes with kids, because they don't have the words, oftentimes you'll see changes in their behavior. There may be things happening differently at school. They may be withdrawing from friends. They may be changing things that they're interested in. They may be having sleep troubles. They may be having nightmares, things like that. Sometimes those are also times when it's really good to ask about what's happening inside their minds and their feelings as well. And sometimes that can lead to helpful conversations too. Let me ask you something about talking about suicide at dinner. Whoa, that's heavy stuff. All the time I hear people say, gosh, I'm afraid to ask somebody about suicide because I might put an idea in their head. I don't want them to start thinking about something that comes from me and not from themselves. What do you think about that?
You cannot give somebody the idea to kill themselves. It's not an idea that you're going to place in their head. If this is something that somebody is struggling with, it's already going to be there. You're not going to give them the idea. Saying nothing is more dangerous than asking them. Just reaching out, asking somebody, are you struggling with suicide? That gives them the opportunity to reach out for help. It gives them the opportunity to say, yes, I am, and I need help with this. And I think that's where also it's important for all of us to know what resources are available so that when somebody does say, yes, I'm struggling with this, you know where to lead them if they don't know where to go.
You want to say something else, Evan? I know.
All of the research shows people want us to ask them. Why won't people come to us and tell us they're thinking about suicide? They're scared. They're afraid they're going to be judged. They're afraid we might take them away. All of it shows if we ask non-judgmentally in a caring way, the majority of the time they'll tell us. They're so grateful that we ask them. We may have to ask twice, but if we add that sigh of relief, yeah, I am thinking about suicide. And you don't have to solve all their problems. Call the hotline 24/7. We will help you through it. You're not alone in this. You're never alone. But it's always better to ask the question. And people know my story. I've said it a million times. I've asked people in the grocery store because I like to sleep at night. Because if I don't ask, no one else will. So we have to ask the question. What's the worst thing that can happen if you ask the question? Nothing. Nothing can happen. But what's the worst thing that can happen if you don't ask the question? They could. So people like, oh, here comes that lady. I don't care because I might ask it. But that's okay. Ask the question, save a life.
This film, where can we see it again to show our loved ones?
On our website, so I work for 23 ABC News, and it's on our website right now, actually. So it's turnto23.com. It will be there for eternity.
Turnto23.com.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and
Turnto23.com.
And I really second what Ellen had to say earlier. It is not at all common for news media outlets to put issues like this, especially with their own employees, out front and center. It makes me proud to live in Bakersfield and to watch them.
I just wanted to comment on having them speak to you. I'm just dealing with my own kids, and we're in the new age of social media, and a lot of these kids don't even talk to each other. They'll sit next to each other and text. Is there an actual line that they can text to?
Yes, it's 741-741. I've used it many times.
Is it kids their own age, though?
Crisis text line.
It's not other kids, is what he's asking.
Yeah, because that would be my other concern is if it's probably adults, I'm guessing.
Yeah, you have to be 18 and older.
Well, with the new policy that's coming out, is it going to, there's always kids that are doing community service for the school. Can the high schools actually have some of those kids volunteer for something like that?
Due to liability issues and what have you, you have to be very well trained to be able to work on a crisis line. Because we're talking life and death here.
Sure.
So if you go on the internet and look at crisis text line, that's a national line. So check it out. I don't know because I don't know what you need to do to be on that one. Like,
No, I would just think it would be a lot helpful, more helpful if there was teens talking to teens rather than adults talking to teens, because we've had the longest time, or the hardest time trying to get ours to talk to us.
right, and yeah, 'cause I don't want to talk to someone old. And they're going to talk to each other before they talk to an older person. And I want to bring that up real quick. You talked about social media. And I've said this in a lot of different places I've spoken. We're all so connected. We're disconnected today. We are just disconnected. Because we're so busy doing this, we're not doing this anymore. When we're sitting at the table, what are we doing? We're doing this. We're not doing this. Lamar, how are you? How are you really doing, Lamar? Because when we go to dinner, we're doing this. We have got to get our kids off their phones. When we're together as a family, the phone's got to go away. The phone's got to get turned off at 10. And you know, that's where their identity is. There's been research done now that without their phone, our kids think they don't have an identity. Their identity is as our children, as a family, but they don't feel that anymore because they feel like they're nothing without that phone. So we're not talking about what's really going on with you. He's my 15-year-old son. What's really going on with you? We're not doing that anymore because it's all this. So I really want you to think about that, about disconnecting every day as a family, because we're really seeing an uptick in that lack of communication. I have kids call our hotline every day. Can you just please listen? They're not even suicidal at times. They just want someone to listen.
So Isaiah, while the mic is moving up there, let me ask you something. Do you still do a fair amount of writing? Yeah. Do you perform it at all? You want to look something up for us? Yeah.
Okay. First of all, I want to say thank you to my heroes sitting there on the stage and Ellen. But I also want to thank you to Adam of Channel 23 for him giving the green light to the go-ahead to Jackie. I first met Jackie last summer and when this journey started. And I wanted to also thank Adam because he supported NAMI, an organization that I'm part of the board of, which stands for the National Alliance on Mental Illness. I'm also a member of SALT, board Save a Life Today, which this is and Adam in Channel 23 donated and supported both of those organizations. So thank you. And I also want to say, if you need help and support, look up NAMI, NAMI.org. We're local. We can support you. We can help you through a lot of this. We have classes. We have support groups. So that's out there. That's available. And when you're in a room full of parents or a room full of people who are going through some of the same things that you are not alone, and you become a family. Thanks for all of you.
Yeah, and I really need it to be like PG too. We have.
Hello, my name is Katie. I've been in therapy since I was 16. I was at an orphanage when I was 3. I don't know why I was there. I was there, I was a sleepwalker. I'd walk across campus, climb my sister's bed. Some good bed, then walk back to mine. I was terrified of dogs. They had 2 dogs that walked me across campus, Salt and Pepper. But I was asleep, so I didn't know about it. This went on for, 3 to 7, and I went home. I got abused when my grandfather died. So I got abused at home. I they have a name for it now. Hadn't the same name back then. I was discarded amongst my peers. I was the outcast. I was the one that got chased, or if I approached someone, I was discarded. So I didn't have anyone unless they were, some teacher's child. I had, maybe 3 friends because they were related to staff. I was discarded at home because basically you didn't have a problem. Didn't matter what the problem was, you didn't have it. So as everything gets swept under the rug, basically the tangent the school had, because there was a, dyke in the classroom who on a regular basis would beat me up if I was there after school without my grandmother picking me up. So the sisters told my grandmother, hey, call us if she's not going to get picked up by you. She can walk home. Which I did on occasion. I mean, there was no life. Now I ended up in foster home. There was a little better, but I mean, you see all the scary stories. You go through all the tragedies. You see all life's presentations. You see what happens. Suicide, well, yeah, what did they do back then? You had these dark thoughts and doctors would throw pills at you. Didn't matter if you're allergic. Well, here's another pill. I mean, therapy was not the high point. You're lucky if you got it. And basically, I wouldn't have suicide as dinner conversation. I'd wait for dessert. Dinner is what happened today. How was your day? And hopefully there's blessings on the table. But you're looking at, do you want to talk about, let's have dessert. So you can have some warm comfort of, yeah, I'm miserable, and you're getting through it somehow. I mean, it needs to be something special, something encouraging. What else does a person have to look forward to? I had seizures as a kid, and I was being denied right and left. I was a blue baby, but did that matter? No, to my mom I was throwing a tantrum. No, it didn't matter. My dad left, the kids would say, oh, he took one look at you and left. And my mom would blame me. I wasn't the fault. I was the one person who, I didn't buy that. It wasn't my fault, it was hers. But she did the same thing to me. She took my son. I came to this town, I couldn't get to 7 I didn't have my son. My son's 4, he has a problem. I go to the doctor and say, hey, I need medication. They give my son Red Lip. I'm the one who needs the medication. Today, I still need the medication to deal with my son. I mean, what's too much?
That's way too much. Yeah, that's a lot. One thing everybody in here has in common, everybody in the world has in common, is we all started out as some cute little baby somewhere, just like this guy right here, right? And we need love and care. That's what gets us to where we need to be in life. We're running short on time here, so we maybe
as the luck would have it,
like one. Well, no, we got time for it, but like maybe one more question after that, and then we'll need to wind up.
Oh, there was quite a few things I wanted to say, but I would like us to find more strength throughout this than sorrow, and that's what I'm feeling. And I just know that together that we can pull each other out of something like this. My own experience, hey, it happened to me when I was 14, It didn't come bleeding out of me till I was 37. So it was terrible. And it got me really bad. And, you know, I've been listening to Jackie, and that's what brought me here too. And I feel like we don't need to sort of dwell on the sorrow, but become stronger together through all of this, because it's gonna do us a lot better than to just feel victimized, stigmatized. You know, fight back. You know, fight back. Tell your children, this is something that can affect you just like drowning. This is something that can affect you just like anything else you fall into, drugs or anything. You know, and medication and therapy was the answer for me. So don't let that turn you off either. You know, like there's always hope out there for anybody and everybody who has certain different problems. Mine was PTSD, childhood PTSD at 14. So I'm 38 years old now.
Anne found the information on the teen crisis line.
I had someone ask me in one of my assist classes, so I had this research. There is a teen line that's teen to teens, and the website is teenlineonline.org. And so it's teen to teen, they're trained. It's every night of the week, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Southern California time or California time. And there's a phone number you can text or email, so you can get all that information online.
What was it again?
It's teenlineonline.org.
And I think it's out of Dee Dee Hirsch, or they're affiliated with Dee Dee Hirsch.
I'm not sure. So TEENLINE online.org.
And sir, thank you for your message. I think that's really a nice way for us to sum this up. You know, another thing that we all have in common here is that every single person in this room has suffered. We have suffered something. Every single person has. And most people, when I ask them, how did that change you? I know you're thinking about it. How did that change you? For most of us, we think about the strength, the growth, the love we didn't know we had, the support. For many of us, it turns into, you know what, I'm going to do a movie. It turns into, I'm going to educate people about depression in kids. I'm going to tell my story so that other people can learn from it and be helped from it. That's also what suffering does. It's not just suffering. Sometimes, and I know it sounds a little weird to say this, but sometimes it's a sign of a gift that's on the way, right? All of you are a gift to us. All of you.
Can I have a raise?
One gift deserves another, huh? So, Jackie, maybe you might want to say something to wind things up, but just again, want to thank you all for coming out and sharing and asking questions and being interested in this great, great film. And we look forward to doing more wonderful things with you all in the future.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll just wrap up by saying just thank you, 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 thank you. And Adam, my boss, thank you for letting me do this. Thank you all for coming out. It means a lot to me that you listened to our stories and that you cared and you stayed and you asked questions and you got involved. And most of all, just that you listened, because that's what we all need to do for each other, is just listen and talk. So, thank you all.